Yeah, really proud of our team, coaches and staff, our players, for their belief, buy-in, the effort this season. This is year three for me as a head coach. And, we've taken the next step that we talked about to reach Detroit and MAC championship game. I think our players are very excited. This is a great conference with great players, great coaches, and it's very competitive. You see that week in and week out as we go through, and you saw that again this year. A lot of teams at the top that could have and wanted to be here. So we're honored and blessed to represent Western Michigan University here in the MAC championship. Excited to compete for a championship. We've got a great opponent when we face this year. Coach Martin, his team, Miami Redhawks, are well coached. They're disciplined. It will take our best effort on Saturday.
Thanks, Coach. Again, if you have a question, please use the raise hand feature. First, we will go to Tony Paul. Tony, your microphone is open. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, can you hear me? Hey,
Yep.
Lance, how are you?
Hey, Tony.
Yeah, appreciate your time today. You kind of touched on it a little bit there, but I have one quick question and a follow-up. But how much do you guys talk about, and have you talked about Detroit? Obviously, Central is, the big rivalry every year, but how much is the Detroit kind of a focus throughout the year?
We really haven't talked about it at all, Tony. I mean, we set our goals, in preseason camp, and that's one of our goals is to, reach Detroit, make the MAC championship game first and foremost, and then to compete for a championship, win a championship is the next goal. But then we don't talk about it. I mean, one of the things that I've tried to do this year is really talk about the process and just going 1-0 each day and then 1-0 each week and really focusing on that. And I think our team has really taken hold of that and done a great job just focusing on today, being present where our feet are, not worrying about, Detroit or what our ultimate goals are. And for that, I'm really proud because it's really tough for young kids to understand that and buy into that. And also everything that they see and read on social media is the antithesis of what you're preaching on a daily basis. But they have they really locked in and understood that mentality to win. You have to focus on the process, not the outcomes.
Yeah. Um, and you mentioned also year three. Where would you assess where the program is? Obviously, bowl eligibility, the last 2 years. Do you think you are in some ways ahead of schedule?
Well, I'd ask you where you think the program is. You've probably covered the program a lot longer than I have. For me, I have high expectations and standards. I always felt like we would get here and we would be here. That was, I said that at my opening press conference. And then, since then, I haven't talked much about, the conference championship or making it to Detroit. It's really been about laying the foundation and the work that it takes to get here. Yeah, I did think that we would be here. I didn't know how long it would take, and I didn't want to put an expectation on that because I don't think that that's fair as a first-time head coach, or understanding how competitive this league is to put an expectation or standard on when we would reach this. But I will tell you this: I mean, we're still growing, and there's still a lot of areas and ways that we have to grow and continue to get better. If we want to be competitive and stay competitive in this conference, it first starts with players. We've got to be able to, one, retain our own roster. We've got some really good players that have played really well for us this year. It starts with retention, and then we've got to go out and we've got to do an excellent job in recruiting to bring in the best players here to Western Michigan, and that's what gives you a chance. I'm really proud of our staff. I think we've got an excellent staff. There's continuity on our staff. There's alignment, all of those things. So, I mean, to answer your question, yes, I thought we would be here. I didn't put a expiration date or a timing date when I thought we would get here.
Next, we'll go to Christian Romo from the Detroit Free Press. Christian, your microphone's open.
Hey Lance, so your only conference loss this season was to Miami. So what did you learn from that game, and what lessons are you bringing from that game into Saturday?
Yeah, that's a great question. One, I think, one of the things that this team has done a great job of is we have learned our lessons when we failed. We started the season 0-3, And, a lot of people counted us out from that moment. And then, our first conference game was against Toledo, a very gritty game that we had to win, come back and win there at the end. And so, we have taken, lessons from each of our losses. I think the Miami loss was a great, lesson for our team because, we were on a 4-game win streak. We were going into Miami off of a bye week, and we played well in that game for 3 quarters, and we didn't finish. And I think what you have seen since that game is we really had a mentality. We had a me and a players only meeting, the day after that game, and we really just talked about, hey, how can we be better, and one of the things that they said was, making sure that, when we talk about the process and worrying about the next play, it applies even in game. Like, we can't worry about the outcome. All of a sudden, the game doesn't get bigger in the fourth quarter. We have to continue to stay on task and really, stay in the present where our feet are and worry about what, doing our job. And so I think that's one of the biggest things that we've learned. I think that's shown up, the last weeks since we've played Miami. We've had some tough games and some games we've had to win in the second half and the fourth quarter, had to come back from games, and we've just played one play at a time.
And just one follow up to that, wide receiver Cam Perry, he's emerged as this explosive deep threat. So what's the plan to neutralize him?
Yeah, he's one of the best receivers in the country. I mean, I love the way that he plays. He's got energy and passion. I love watching him on tape, and I even loved, more just being on the sideline, watching him in person. I went up to him after the game and said that I love the way that he plays the game. He's passionate. He loves football. You can tell he's competitive. Every time the ball's in the air, he wants to make the catch. He wants to make the play. And if the ball doesn't come his way, he wants the ball to come his way. He's one of those guys. Give me the ball when the game's on the line, and shoot or shoot. I think he does a great job. We're going to have to bring our best. I mean, I think he's leading the country in yards per catch. So that tells you how explosive and dynamic he is. He's a game wrecker. He's a game changer. Again, I love the way that he plays. Our defense has got to do an excellent job, making sure that, one, we stay disciplined, and just do our job, not try to do too much, because I think sometimes when you play really good players, you try to get outside yourself and do too much or make too big of a play, and it causes a mistake or several mistakes that wind up costing you. So we just have to do our job. There's going to be some of those one-on-one battles that we have to win.
Next, we'll go to Paul Morgan. Paul, your microphone is open. There you go. Paul? All right, put you on mute. All right, how about Zach Green? Zach, your microphone's open?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Hey, Coach. Congrats on the amazing season so far. The first time you played Miami at your stadium, the fourth quarter, the defensive pressure for the Red Hawks kind of got home and wrecked the game a little bit for you guys. How do you look to counteract that in Detroit?
Yeah, that's a great assessment. We did not play our best in the fourth quarter, really offensively, defensively, or special teams. We had the lead in the fourth quarter. We gave up 17 unanswered points and the lead, lost the game. And, that's a team effort. In terms of our offense, we've seen a lot of pressure and movement, just based on how we play offensive football. And, I think we learned a lot from that Miami game, especially in the second half. They really gave us fits. I thought they did a great job making some adjustments. Their coaches did an excellent job, and the players went out and did an excellent job executing it. And so, we've worked on that every week since. And, I've got confidence in our O-line. They've gotten better each and every week this season. They're probably our most improved group on our team. They're a cohesive group right now that's playing at a really high level. We are going to be tested. They are going to be tested on Saturday. I mean, this is a really good football team. I think this is a great matchup. I think that we match up really well. It's going to be a really competitive game, just like it was the first time. I said that, going into our first matchup against, I was excited to see how our guys would compete against one of the best teams in the league. And, we went toe to toe with them, did not play well enough to win in the fourth quarter. They did. They made plays in the fourth quarter, and we did not. And that was that was the game.
Just to follow up, this is a different offense that you're going to be going against in terms of personnel wise. With the new quarterback Kotkowski making a second start, some injuries to the Redhawks offense as well. How does your defense preparing to go against kind of a little different group than they faced the first time?
Yeah, I think it's very similar to you go into other games. Yes, they have a new quarterback and slightly different variations to what they do offensively, but it's still Chuck Martin's offense. It's still, his system and what they've run. And, that's what he's run for, 12 years. He tailors it to the person. I mean, one of the things that makes Coach Martin so good as a coach is it's not just, hey, we run these plays. He tailors it to, the players that he has and putting them in the best position to be successful based on their strengths. And so he does an excellent job, tailoring his offense and making sure that the plays match his personnel. And, I think that's why he's had so much success. It's not about, plays, it's about players. And so our defense will have a, great plan for it. Got no doubt for it. And Kotkowski has played really well. I think for, a guy who, his first start against Ball State. I mean, one of the things that I loved is he's fearless and, he's willing to take the one-on-one shots and the matchup shots outside and give his receivers and tight ends a chance for the ball in the air.
Next, we'll go to Andrew Graham. Andrew, your microphone's open.
Yep. It's Lance. I think it's been, excuse me, it'll be like 11 days, I think 10 days since you guys have played last on Saturday. I guess, how have you approached the layoff? And obviously there's the holiday in there. There's kind of some built-in like off time. How did you kind of handle that period, getting the team back and kind of their mentality of building to this week? Maybe not, just the whole mental side of getting up for this week and not maybe going too hard too early and having that long layoff, and kind of how you approach that.
Yeah, I think it was a little bit of the perfect storm, Andrew, because of this. It wasn't a bye week. It wasn't a full week off. We had a 3 or 4 days there with Thanksgiving in those days. We played on Tuesday night. We gave our players off Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, brought them in Saturday afternoon. The other part of it was, like we didn't know who we were playing. So we couldn't start preparing and get too far ahead of ourselves, which I think is a good thing because coaches love to overanalyze and love to prepare. And then sometimes it becomes paralysis by analysis because you spend so much time. No matter who we played, we knew that we were going to play somebody that we had faced already. And I think that that's always a tricky, slippery slope as well. When you play somebody that you've already played, you try to overanalyze what we did, what they did, what are they going to do that, and so you really sometimes do too much. So I thought it was the exact right thing, what we needed. Our players were able to go home, truly take a break and, able to celebrate the Eastern Michigan win, clinching a spot in the MAC championship game. They were able to go home, see their family for Thanksgiving, get a couple of days rest, and then come back on Saturday. And by Saturday, 3:00, we knew who we were going to play. And so we got an extra day, really. We came in Sunday and practiced. We got a little extra day because those teams played on Saturday and we were in on Saturday. But it has been too much. I think the week of prep has been really good. For most of you guys who know and hear me preach every time I get on the pulpit in the press conference, it's about the preparation, and we've had a great week of preparation. These weeks, the thing that I've learned in 19 years of coaching and having played in 9 championship games, either played or coached in 9 championship games, these weeks you got to say whoa, not go. They know how much it means. They're excited to play in this game. This is, one of their goals, and they are super excited. I think there's been great focus, which sometimes, that lacks as you prepare for a championship game. I think the energy, the passion is always there, but sometimes the focus is not there. And so I think the focus has been there. I think it's really been a good mixture. There's been great energy, but there's been great focus and intent on what we're doing and really discipline to do our job. And it's going to come down to execution on Saturday. I mean, I think Coach Martin will tell you the same thing. We've had a great week of preparation, but it's going to come down to how we execute on Saturday. More of these games are lost than won. You beat yourself by making, critical mistakes in critical situations, and it winds up costing you instead of, making the play to win the game. I think a lot of, a lot of times in these championship type games, you have to play the game or play the play, not the occasion. And if you worry about, because it's a championship game, or what the score or what the consequences are for the outcomes, if we win, if we lose, none of that matters. What we have to do is focus on our job, and really be disciplined to be dialed in to do that.
You have time for a couple more. Matthew, your microphone's open.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Hey, Coach. You know, you said before the season that you thought this team was going to be special. But I feel like, you know, seeing your team kind of come through in the fourth quarter, the word grit. I know your core foundation, but to have that kind of shine when it matters most. How has that mentality kind of changed the mindset of your program? And do you think it made a difference that it came from the players?
I think it absolutely made a difference that it came from the players, because I think they had some ownership in it. And listen, I can have great ideas or great sayings or great acronyms or whatever coach speak you want to say, but if they don't take ownership of it, or they don't take hold of it, and it doesn't necessarily mean anything to them in their core, then are they really truly bought in and believe in that, because it's more my idea than it is their idea. The best teams that I've been on, it's been player-led leadership. And if it's going to be player-led leadership, then you have to be willing to give them some ownership in what you do, and be willing to take the good with the bad. I mean, I've had to learn that as a young head coach. And so, but I absolutely think that because they came up with grit, and that's what they wanted the identity and mentality of this team to be. I think that's how we trained in the off season. You're starting to, we saw it show itself in games, this season, which was awesome. I mean, really, for the first time in my tenure here, we started, we overcame halftime deficits. We were able to rally in the fourth quarter and win. We were able to really overcome adversity and at different paths and different parts of games. But that started with the work in the off season. And I think because we went into this off season with a clear vision and goal of their goals, which was, grit. They wanted to be, a gritty team. I think we trained that way because of that. And there was clear, there was clear vision and ownership from the players.
Steve Baker. Steve, microphone's open.
Hey, Coach. Just you're really quickly. There's so much change in every team every year, and I'll ask Chuck the same question. Do you think that players being put in a position of the championship have, maybe want to do too much? I know coaches train, it's just another game, that sort of thing. But we've seen players, want to, do too much, and sometimes that costs teams as you prepare for the game. Is that an issue in your mind, or something you address to the team?
Well, I think it's, a couple of things there, Steve. You're exactly right. I think in these, championship moments or games, whether it's football, whether it's basketball,
Yeah.
So many, players and coaches really, you have to play the game, not the occasion. So they're playing, like this,
Right.
this is the end all be all, instead of focusing on their job and the details of their job. And, I think, some advice that I was given, talked to, Coach Saban, several mentors this week, just advice on how to, help prepare my team the best way that I could. And their advice was, be consistent, and help your players, really focus on the process each day. Stay where your feet are. Don't worry about, the outcome of the game. Don't worry about the scoreboard. When you worry about each day and each play, the scoreboard takes care of itself. And so, I think you see, more of these games lost, teams beating themselves by trying to do too much or trying to make a play in a big moment or the moment being too big. But if you're worried about the moment, then you're not worried about your job and the play. You're thinking about the occasion and what it means. And that's when guys get wide-eyed, and instead of having eye discipline and narrowing their focus, they see too much, because they want to make a play or they're trying to do too much.
We'll go back because we tried earlier. Last one here. Paul Morgan. Paul, I opened up your microphone. We got you.
Hello. Can
Yep.
you hear me, Jeremy?
Yep, we got you now.
Can you hear me?
Yep, go ahead.
Okay, great. Yep. Hey, Coach, congratulations. Just wondering, after that loss to Miami, you were sort of in a one or you're done type situation. How did the team sort of accept those last 4 games?
You're exactly right, Paul. After, we talked about that as a team. We came in after the Miami game and we talked about how do we need to be better? What are the things that, not only as players, but as coaches, I asked as a head coach, hey, how can I help you guys? What do I need to be better at? And how can I help you guys prepare and play, in those critical moments in games, to be able to finish in the fourth quarter, because we did not play well enough in the fourth quarter. But we also talked about we're in a 1-game season. Every game from here on out is a 1-game season. And I think it was the best case scenario for us in terms of it helped us focus on just going 1-0. Nothing else mattered. We weren't able to get ahead and look ahead or, clinch a spot early. We had to win each of those 4 games to even get in the championship game. And so we've really been in a playoff run, every week up, since that game. Every game has been a 1-game season. And I truly hope and think that that's helped us prepare this week. It's really been business as usual. We've tried to, we've kept the, schedule consistent. We've done the same routine, kept them in their routines, really haven't talked about championship or winning the championship or, the game in Detroit. We really just tried to focus on us and our opponent and our preparation, and keep it, consistent so that they, continue to stay in the rhythm that they've stayed in for the last 4 weeks. And, that was some of the best advice that I was given is, focus on the process, each day, and keep them locked in to now. What's important now, today. That's what's important. And our guys have done a great job of that. But I think the last 4 weeks since the Miami game have helped us prepare, and really get in that mode and mindset where it truly was. Each week was one and done, 1-0.
Well, Coach, I want to thank you again for your time this afternoon. Congratulations. We look forward to having you here in Detroit, and safe travels, and talk to you soon. But thank you again.
Thanks, Jeremy. Excited to be there. Go Broncos.
Okay, next, we're going to bring on offensive lineman Raheem Anderson.
Hey, Jeremy, how's it going?
Gotcha. Good, Raheem. Thanks for joining us. We're gonna get to the media here in a second, but just start things off with just how excited you are and how excited your team is on making it to Detroit and being able to play for a MAC title.
It's a blessing, honestly. Everything we went through in the off season, all the grinding and all the sacrifices that everybody has made individually, all the sacrifices that we've made as a team, everything that we preach like on a day-to-day basis it's honestly like a blessing, like I said, to be in this position.
Great. First, we will go to Paul Morgan. Paul, go ahead. Your microphone's open.
Yep. Thank you. Thanks, Jeremy. Hey, Raheem. Congratulations on making it this far.
Hey, Paul, thank you.
Yeah. What's it like blocking for Brock Lowry?
I mean, it's amazing. I love Brock. It's just like you'll put everything on the line for that guy. Me and the other O linemen has just built up a sense of pride knowing that like what we do will spring him to great success and to help our team win.
Do you block differently for him than you would say for Buckley or somebody else? I mean, there's so many different styles going there too.
I mean, we just get the play call and we execute whatever our coaches to do, no matter who's in the backfield.
Next, we'll go to Tony Paul. Tony, your microphone's open.
Hey, Raheem, is this game any more special for you, being in Detroit?
Um, I would say yes and no. One being no, meaning like it's just like another game. We don't really try to treat moments like bigger than any other. But yes, like on a personal level, being from Detroit, I played at Ford Field twice. I was 7 and 8 years old. I never got able to play in the state championship when I was in high school. So it's special in that way.
You've been asked for a lot of tickets?
Yeah, definitely. We were only given a certain amount of tickets, but I'm pretty sure everybody who wants to come will be able to make it.
Yeah, and lastly, you just talked about Brock a little bit, but what we hear about Brock just is about the toughness that he displays on the field and in practice. Can you just kind of give us a little idea about that and maybe an
Mhm.
example?
I can give you a great example. It was a day in training camp. We had a scrimmage, and every all the quarterbacks had on yellow jerseys, and Brock was in the white jersey, like every other offensive player, and we just saw kind of like the grittiness that he had, and I feel like it's been on display for most of the season.
Next, we'll go to Andrew Graham. Andrew, microphone's open.
Yeah, Raheem, I'm kind of curious about your experience of you've, if I'm not mistaken, have been on a championship team before at Michigan, of just what you kind of take from that to this experience and kind of if guys have been leaning on you, what you shared from that, how it's different, how it's the same of just kind of leaning on your past experiences as a football player and kind of translating them to this moment.
Yeah, so being on those other championship teams at Michigan, just I just learned that like just be in the moment and be the moment. Like no moment is bigger than another. It's like it's just another game. Like it's obviously higher stakes, but if you as long as you do your job, then you'll come out successful.
And in this guys, it's probably I'm sounds like you guys have got a pretty good grip on kind of what the week of prep needs to look like and not,
Mhm.
building up to the moment and kind of like
Right.
like it seems like there's a good grasp from the coaching staff on kind of how to approach this week.
Yeah. I feel like our operations and our coach have and Coach Taylor has definitely had a great schedule, taking some off our legs and really preparing us to be fresh and ready for this game on Saturday.
Next, we'll go to Christian Romo. Christian, microphone's open.
Thanks, Raheem. I asked Coach Taylor this question earlier, but I'm curious about your perspective. Your only conference loss this season was to Miami, so I'm curious what you took from that loss and what lessons you're going to try to impart for Saturday.
I say the biggest lesson we took from the loss was just execution and being very detailed with our assignments. There were some games, there were some plays in that game that we definitely wish we could have gotten back. Me personally, in the fourth quarter, but just taking it and using that lesson and building it to other weeks, and it brought us back here, and we'll definitely take those lessons and try to apply them on Saturday.
And what do you see from Miami's defense that makes them such a difficult matchup heading into this game?
They're a very disciplined defense. Everybody's always in the right spot. Their D line has great pad level, great hands. Their linebackers are slippery, fast. They fly around. DBs are lockdown DBs. Just they're a really good all around team in general.
Thank you.
Next, we'll hear from Zach Green. Zach, go ahead.
Hey, Raheem. Congrats on the incredible season so far. I know some other people have asked questions about this, but yes, the only loss was to Miami, and especially in the fourth quarter, the offensive line as a whole, for you guys, kind of let Miami wreck the game. How do you see try to take the whole three quarters that you guys played really well and put that to a whole game?
Just doing our job. I think it's as simple as that. When all five guys, all 11 guys do our job, then we can be successful. Not making one play, not trying to make one play, not trying to make a big moment. Just do our job and stay disciplined and trust our assignments. Trust each other as well.
Yeah. And in terms of playing in the same state that you guys always are in Michigan, how do you think potential, a bigger crowd for you guys can help you guys in terms of cadences?
Uh, I think I think it'll help. But like me personally, I know a lot of guys on the offense don't even like don't even really take into account like the fans and stuff like that. But I know being so close to the stadium, we'll have a good turnout by the fans.
Thank you.
All right, and one more question queue here. Matthew Eller, is it Eller or Ealer? Sorry.
No, you're good. It's Ayler. It's kind of
Okay,
weird because it's with an E, but
got it.
no, hey Raheem, congrats on the awesome season.
Thank
I
you.
wanted to touch on just because I saw it this morning the postseason awards that have come out. You and then also Chad Schuster on the first team All MAC. And I feel like this year, with such a new group, you being one of them, just what does that mean, for, to see, two guys from a vastly different offensive line group get that sort of recognition?
I mean, it means a lot. It just shows how much trust that coaches have given me, and Chad and all the guys on the O line and the offense as well. Coach Taylor bringing Coach Pav in the offseason and him just harping on details and technique and fundamentals, and just kind of taking it and run with it, and really just trusting the road that they've put on us.
And then just to kind of follow up, I asked Coach Taylor this, but you kind of touched on Brock and his experiences of being gritty, and that's just kind of the word of this team. Um, how has that just kind of transformed this thing? Because I know you guys are built on effort, attitude, toughness, and discipline, but to have that at the core of everything, how has that just kind of elevated you guys?
I think it's elevated us by like just setting a standard. Like the great games we played, the great practices we have, like we try to raise that standard every day, and just try to uphold it in our play and every little thing we do, whether it's how clean we keep the locker room when people go to class, how good are our grades, and just how we interact with each other in general. Just upholding that standard as a Western Michigan Bronco.
Well, Raheem, I want to thank you for your time. I know it's busy time with you guys preparing, but thanks for taking some time with the media today. Best of luck to you guys. Safe travels as you get to Detroit, and we'll see you at Ford Field.
Thank you. God bless.
Thanks. Next, we'll hear from Tate Halleck. Tate, I'm bringing you on here. Let's see. Oh, Tate, if you could accept being the panelist, that's how I get you on here. Hold on, I'll send it again. Well, see a second. Hmm. See on here twice. There you go. There we go.
My fault. Sorry about
Oh,
that.
you're fine.
My
Totally
Wi-Fi went out right as you were talking. I was like, "Oh crap!"
perfect timing. Perfect timing. It's okay. Thanks for taking time with us today, and congratulations on earning a berth in the MAC football championship game. I just asked Raheem the same thing. If you could start off just, how excited you are to be playing in this game, and not to mention you, but your teammates, and then we'll get to some questions from the media. That'd be great.
Yeah, super excited, super blessed. That's all we've been working for this off season. Ever since I came here 3 years ago with Coach Taylor, that's all we've been working for. It's all we wanted to be. So just very excited and very blessed to be here in this position.
Again, if you're a member of the media and have a question for Tate, please use the raise hand feature. We will first go to Zach Green. Zach, your microphone's open.
Hey Tate, congrats on the incredible season so far and making it back or making it to Detroit. This game you're gonna have your hands full. The Red Hawk offense likes to stretch the field, obviously with Cam Perry, but Gutkowski likes to hang in the pocket and get it off to guys like Weaver. How do you think, obviously a different quarterback when you guys played the Red Hawks the first time? How do you think uh, this defense is preparing for that?
Oh yeah, thank you for the beginning part. But yeah, just another game. I think, to be honest with you, I think their offense is very similar with Katawaski, or I don't want to mispronounce his name, but I think that's it. But yeah, just another game. Just focus on their offense. They're very diverse, very explosive. With Cam Perry and yeah, him staying there in the pocket just makes it even harder. To be honest with you, just got to get hands on receivers and just lock them down because they're so explosive and throwing the ball.
Thank you.
Again, if you have a question for Tate, please use the raise hand feature. Tate, one that I have, we do have one that just popped up, but I'll keep asking. Just, being a Michigan guy and being able to play in Ford Field, just what's that mean to you to play in a stadium like that and with the bright lights and for that trophy with growing up here?
Yeah, no, I've been dreaming of it ever since I've been in high school. Obviously, I wasn't able to make it in high school, but now I'm here in the MAC championship. I mean, what else can you ask for, to be honest with you? Just super blessed. Glad I can be here in college because I couldn't do it in high school. So,
Okay, we'll go to Tony Paul. Tony, your microphone's open.
Hey Tate, appreciate your time.
of course,
I was there at the end of the Eastern game, and you talked a little bit about Brock, but can you tell us anything about Brock that we don't know?
no, I think you see it. I think you see it the way he plays. The dude's one of the grittiest guys on this team. Just when it out, put it in Brock's hands. To be honest with you, see what he did at the Toledo game, the Central game. The dude just wins. He's very successful, and just glad he's on my team. He makes our defense work because he's a running quarterback. So make us good in that aspect. But love the kid, and I'm glad he's on my team.
And then what? And I'm sure you had opportunities to go elsewhere, but what was it about Lance or maybe somebody else that really drew you to a program that really had no guarantees? I mean, he was 1 year in, the program was rebuilding. What drew you here?
Oh yeah, so we actually have my dad is really good friends with Brian Kelly, and so he coached under Brian Kelly. So my dad actually reached out to him, and Coach Kelly told him that he's a young, very energetic, loving person, and he's ready to go. He's ready to be a head coach. So I just bought into that, and the first time I came down here, I live 50 minutes from here, so I came on the visit. Pretty much spent the whole time with him, to be honest with you. I felt bad for the other recruits because I spent a lot of time with him and Coach Espo. But yeah, we bonded right away, and I knew I wanted to play for a guy like him, and I'm glad I am. Glad I still am. The last 3 years. So I love that guy to death.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Go to Paul Morgan. Paul, microphone is open.
All right. Hey, Tate. I asked Coach this question about the last 4 games you lost to Miami. You're basically in a situation of one and done type situation. How did you approach those each and every one of those games?
Yeah, just like Coach Taylor said earlier, just we were 0-0 season, just treating it like one game at a time, knowing that if we do lose, we can go from first to fifth in the MAC. So yeah, we treated it like do or die pretty much. Every snap, every play has a new life, and we played that one play, one life game. The rest of those 4 games, no matter if we got scored on, we scored as a defense, offense scored, special teams, doesn't matter. Each play is a huge life, and we treated it all the same. And just each game just went game after game after game, just focus on 1-0 each day.
Good. Thank you.
Of course. Thank you.
Next, we'll go to Andrew Graham. Andrew, go ahead.
Yeah, Tate, I just want to ask you about Chris O'Leary obviously has come in and it's been a very successful year for him in the defense. And we've heard a lot about how he's this great kind of communicator and teacher. And I'm just kind of curious from your perspective of you had a season with him and just what he kind of came in and did that helped this defense be so good, and kind of what had to happen from your guys' side as players to kind of make it all happen, because it's not a one-way street.
Yeah, he's a true players coach. He's one of my favorite coaches I've ever had. I've told him that plenty of times. I've told a lot of people that. Besides my dad, because I can't go against my dad, he's been my favorite coach by far. So I just have a very good relationship with every single player he has. He talks to us, sometimes it's friendly, sometimes he gets on us because he's a coach, but he's a true players coach, and I wouldn't want to play for anybody else. And, him being my safeties coach too, just brought my game to such a different level. But it's brought to every positions. You see Dame, you see James Camden, like he connects with guys on a deeper level, which I think is amazing. And that's just the type of person he is.
Does him being a little younger maybe help with that? I know he's not young per se, but
maybe. I mean, he acts like he's 18 years old sometimes. He's sprinting all the time, which I love. But yeah, he's the best. I love him, and every single player on this defense loves him. So yeah, I think if he was 60-year-old, it wouldn't matter. He's still sprint on the field like he always does and have a lot of energy. That's just who he is.
Thank you.
Of course, thank you.
And last question here, Matthew Ayler. Matthew, go ahead.
Hey, Tate. Congrats on just an awesome year. I have asked this to Raheem and I've asked this to Coach Taylor. Just the word grit, and I know obviously you guys are built on your core foundation: effort, attitude, toughness, and discipline. But sounds like that came into play during the off season in a players meeting. Was that something that you kind of spearheaded? And I guess secondly, how has that just kind of changed the whole thing of this program?
I did not spearhead it myself, but a couple of other leaders did. And once I saw it, I was like, yeah, that's me. Not being biased because the Lions have it and they use it. But yeah, once I saw it, I was like, yeah, I want to, endure this because I see what the Lions have done with Dan Campbell. So we wanted to use it as that. And it just shows who we are, to be honest with you. The last 4 games especially, we've been super gritty. And we've been tested, like Miami, we're about to play, they tested us. They tested our grittiness in that 4th quarter, and we didn't need to do that. I'm sorry, the lights just turned off. Give me 2 seconds to turn the light. Oh, there you go. It's a motion sensor. That's crazy. Sorry, a lot of technical difficulties. I'm not a technical guy, so sorry. But yeah, just super gritty. As you can tell, the light's going off. Just trying to, get back to neutral here. But yeah, each game has been super gritty, and I'm glad we endured that. New life for us, just because it's been that. And a lot of credit goes out to the strength staff too. They have put us in a lot of gritty situations in the summer, the winter workouts, all that stuff. And so shout out Coach Bernardi, Coach Joe, Coach Vontae, just great guys in stirring that with us, and the great leadership they have for that too.
Yeah, I'll leave it at this. Like, Andrew Bernardi just seems like a ball of energy. And, I saw him at your conversation with him, at that Eastern game. It's like he was a big reason, why this whole thing came to what it was. Just what is it like to be around that guy every day?
Oh my God. He's like, they want to know the definition of the same guy every day, all the time. That's him. You want to come watch? If you guys would be able to see what he does every single day, from 5 a.m. all the way till 4 when they're done. He's the same guy. He's always motivating, always talking to it. He's got these key sayings he always says, and he's just awesome. Ever since he came in, he really just endured that leadership role, and we spend the most time with those guys. So that's where you really get that grittiness out. So I wish you guys could hang out with him for a day, because you would see it's unreal. He's just literally the same guy every day, and I love him so much. He's helped me grow as a leader so much and being that consistent person always. So shout out Coach Bernardi.
Well, Tate, thanks again for your time this afternoon. Really appreciate it. Safe travels to you and your teammates, and we'll see you here in Detroit at 4